Welcome back to another episode of Industry Champions. I'm Steve Strum. I have opportunity today to speak to Debra Hopkins from the Breaking the Chains Foundation. All right, Debra, we were talking a little bit offset about Breaking the Chains Foundation. Tell us a little bit about your organization. What is Breaking the Chains? What chains are you breaking? And just a little bit about who you guys are as an organization.
Well, thank you so much for having this conversation with me. Yes, like I was just chatting with you about that. So like at Breaking the Chains, we just really focus on mental health and body struggle issues. And we provide that. We do that by providing artistic programming and services for those who are looking to link with others on their healthy and mental, emotional wellness journey. And we do that through the power of art and expression. So we have various programs and events and services that build a lot of efficacy around those areas. Our focus is not to let people live in shame and isolation, be curious about wanting to reach out for help. So we have various tools and skills, and we're very personal story and lived experience type foundation. And we transform that through various forms of things that address problematic social media use and negative use that we see among our youth and our young adults. We also have many productions of like dance and performance that integrates like different mind-body wellness principles. And we have a program called Big C New Me. It's a unique, like empowering beauty experience program for cancer survivors of all ages, because we see so much in when you live with cancer, there's a lot of that just really tearing down of oneself internally and externally. And the program really builds them up and gives them, a day of just beauty and connection and community. And I think that's key, that the links I was talking about earlier are connection, community, so that we aren't living in isolation and being curious about what that looks like for us if we look at our mental health, because I think we all want some level of happiness and joy in daily living. And so we try to really meet people where they're at to help them kind of get there. And I think I said enough.
So let me ask you a question. So
Sure.
as you were walking through this, most people, when they think about these foundations, generally they're like, oh, it's geared towards like the younger crowd, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I have 4 kids that are now anywhere from almost 18 to mid 20s. But if you rewind about 5 or 6 years ago, there was a significant event by which they couldn't leave their house, couldn't go to school. Some couldn't have a prom. There, COVID, right? Which somehow is like 6, almost 7 years ago. Don't blink. But most people think that it's those men and women on the younger side. But you sound like you also appeal to people of all ages. Is that something that is correct? Because you're talking about like cancer survivors. Now, anybody can get cancer, but that does a thing with you. We have a family member who recently had dealt with cancer, and unfortunately had to have surgery that really kind of changed the nature of how they identify themselves. And so there's a lot of things that people deal with. It's not just like the body dysmorphia or what's in between your ears. And then you throw the social media stuff on there. We really have gotten to an era where now self-critical is not just self-critical. You can sit there, to your point, when doom scroll for 3 hours, and by the time you're done with that thing, you don't know which way's up. So you help people of all ages, not just young folks, not just old folks, correct?
Yes, so we definitely do have a demographic. I think we have our strongest demographic. Well, we'll do two. We're trying to get younger than 8, but I think our stronger one is like through 8 through 18, and then anywhere up. We are starting to work on programs that are younger than 8, but I just want to make sure that, yes, all ages probably from 8 to 18, and then going up, because a lot of our youth, we put them in categories of, not categories, but rather age groups, because obviously they're at different phases in their life where they're understanding and interpreting and engaging in different things. But then we have a good demographic 14 through 25. And to your point about social media, and how that, yes, we were talking about how you can just doom scroll, dead scroll for hours, and then you become numb and you really aren't thinking. And I say you and we because I think we've all done that, and it affects a lot of people, not just our youth 14 through 25. But the reason I speak about that is we have a program. It's a cognitive dissonance social media literacy program that helps youth ages 14 through 25 navigate the ins and outs of social media. So it started with personal story from one of my my celebrity ambassadors, Delia Rose Reed, who is very known for her TV role in I think it was on Awkward, and she got very much bullied online. And we do a lot of like events and stuff, and I really wanted her to talk about what social media meant to her. And when she talked about it, she was in front of a huge crowd. We were all crying because we really realized, and it all hit us, that social media is so impactful. It can take somebody down, literally take somebody down. And we see it quite often. And so I asked her to come up with maybe 5 things that she thought really meant something to her, and we could build off of that. And she did. And she came up with this program called How to Love Your Selfie. And then we had some clinicians with the research piece of it really work hard on it. And then we ended up getting a grant from the National Eating Disorder Association to help us kind of focus on what areas we should be looking at. Because a lot of youth, unfortunately, have a propensity, the body image struggles, all that kind of stuff towards an eating disorder, or if it's not an eating disorder, it's something where they just feel horrible about themselves, like you had mentioned, body dysmorphia and such. And social media can definitely be impactful in those areas. We can use it for good, we can use it for bad, we can use it to come together as a community, enrich our lives. But unfortunately, there are areas that are danger zones that we see happening. So this program has 5 modules, like explore your selfie, be your selfie, help your selfie, but they have that, enrichment piece that's, so we did a playful titles with it, but there's definitely areas that we're focusing on that help youth navigate the ins and outs. So it comes with 5 modules, and there's 5 different workbooks per module, and there's 5 different videos per that help them along with social media literacy prompts. And then we also just implemented like breath work by one of our professionals, and breathing and movement to kind of bring it all together. And it's available we've done it with various schools and organizations, possibly even treatment centers, different, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, it's for both. It's for everybody. There's not anybody that we're excluded. It's diverse in every level, and it's available online, and it's something that anybody can order worldwide. And we're really excited about it. We have a lot of wings off of it. We do youth camps based on it that are very successful, art and youth wellness and art camps. We do retreats. We do so many things based on the program, so that pre-COVID, to tell you the truth, we did this because of COVID. Because our jam is more in person and meeting people where they are. But when COVID hit, obviously that wasn't happening. So we looked and went, how can we make this viable? And that's how the birthing of it came online. And honestly, it was a blessing in disguise. That was the silver lining, so that we could reach more people. And actually it became more meaningful and impactful to them to be able to do it this way. And it was more available to people. And then we also just really have all these wings to it that allow us to take the components and the real meaningful pieces to it, so that we can meet youth in real time. And parents are very interested in it. Teachers, health coaches, phys ed teachers, counselors, they're all welcome to even take trainings if they want, and learn how to facilitate it. But honestly, you can order it, and it comes with a facilitator guide, it comes with a script, it comes with everything, so that people can facilitate it to the groups that they would like. Even if you want to do it at home with, mom and dad and kids or caregiver, you can do that too. It's available in any form.
Well, and that's probably the best kind of segue there is, I usually, when we wrap these interviews, we talk about what's that one thing, right? And, I think that one thing that really clearly is like communicated here is, if you're having a challenge, right? Whether you're too tall, you're too short, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're not good enough, or you are good enough, and that's not good enough because now you have that overachiever thing going on. There's just so many things that people are dealing with, and people have always dealt with things like this, but the speed by which people now, because of the technology, social media, all that, the speed by which you know something now is almost instant, or like by which you can have an opinion, right?
Yes.
So a sports team wins, even if you're not watching the game, you know within about 5 seconds if they won, right? So
Yes.
the speed by which somebody's like, I think I have a problem. Let me go check out social media. Oh my God, I've got this problem and that one and that one and this one and that one and this one and that one. Oh, by the way, I was too tall, too short, too fat, too skinny, and now I got all this other stuff. So you're here to help them have a resource that they may be not perfect, but they're perfectly imperfect, which is probably a good way to say that, right?
Well,
which
and
we
so
all,
much,
which we all are, and you have these resources that you have for everybody around the country that they can use to help themselves or their loved ones or their community, large or small, in order for them to understand that being perfectly imperfect is actually okay.
it is okay. And we have to remember too that part of that is just natural human growth, that the feelings that we have and the emotions we have aren't necessarily a mental health problem or something. It's part of our life, but they just get, like with all the things that you mentioned, they just get caught up and bogged down. And we're trying to kind of separate that and kind of allow people to think and not be numb and be curious about, not getting caught up in all of that, and that, yes, we're okay, and we can all reach out for help at any time. So.
Well, that's, you know what, and what we'll do is we'll share your story and all this wonderful stuff on our website, which is thedailynewsnetwork.com. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate that. And, you're great. Spending time with you is great. But without
You're
people
great.
watching, none of it matters, right? So, guys, if you know somebody who might be able to be benefited from this, if you have maybe yourself and you're looking for a way to break the chains that bind, come check her out on our website, which is thedailynewsnetwork.com. If you love it, share it. And remember to always live with gratitude.